Hello, welcome to Old Nerd Reads Rogue Ship by A.E. Van Vogt for Rocket Summer. This is a BookTube type reading challenge, I guess. I follow a couple of BookTubers, and Michael K. Vaughn came up with this Rocket Summer hashtag thing, reading challenge. I don't know what it is. Basically, it's read a classic sci-fi novel or story. And this is about as old as I get. A.E. Van Vogt's books. I have several of them, and I was hoping I had. He has a book called The World of Null A, and I was reading about Philip K. Dick a while ago, and I guess it was that A.E. Van Vogt was an influence on Philip K. Dick, specifically that story, The World of Null A. They was mentioned in the interview. So I wanted to read that one for that reason. I dig Philip K. Dick's stuff. I have a lot of his paperbacks. I have nearly all of his paperbacks, I think. Missing probably half a dozen, maybe 10 at the most. He wrote a lot of stuff. Anyway, that's how I learned about A.E. Van Vogt. And I think this is the oldest book by him that I have. And this is one of those, there's a name for it, patch-up novel, I think it's called. Because this book, I want to say movie, this book is divided up into 3 sections. But not really. But if you look here at the copyright material, it says Centaurus 2 was originally published in Astounding Science Fiction, now Analog Science Fiction. Rogue Ship was originally published in Super Science Stories, and The Expendables was originally published in If Worlds of Science Fiction. And the copyright dates are 47, 50, and 63. All of these stories have been completely rewritten into this novel form. So I believe this is what they call a patch-up, fix-up, something like that novel, where they take a bunch of short stories published in these old pulp sci-fi magazines and make a novel out of them. The dedication in this is pretty cool. It's dedicated to Ford McCormack, friend, logician, technical expert, man of many parts, who seems to be as much at home in the exotic universe of translite speeds as on the stage of important little theaters, to whom I am indebted for some of the concepts and for nearly all of what is scientifically exact in this fantastic story. So that's really cool. I don't know who Ford McCormack is. Sounds like he might be an actor, but he's a friend of A.E. Van Vogt's, and apparently he was like like a technical advisor, a science technical advisor, basically. So this book gets into faster than light travel, and this is like we said. What were the dates here? 1947. 1950 and 1963. So in the 1947 section, the first short story, very much felt to me like The Mote in God's Eye. I'll put a card up here to my review of that. I read that recently and did a video on it, and it's by Larry Niven and Jerry Pournelle, and it's basically military sci-fi, and that's what this first story feels like to me, military sci-fi. It's this ship that's left Earth to look for a place for humanity to live because the Earth is going to get destroyed by the sun real soon, at least according to one scientist. And he's the owner of this spaceship. He isn't on the spaceship, but he personally selected this big crew, and they've gone out to the Centaurus system looking for habitable planets. And it's generations. It's like 3 or 4 generations of the captain's family, the captain and his descendants, anyway, and the descendants of some of the other crew members. It's really cool. It's like this first section is a microcosm of our society on a spaceship, and how the further it gets away from Earth, the less Earth's laws impact events going on the ships. And it's a really neat study of how societies are held together and the cycles they go through from start to finish. And it was a cool little God's eye view on this spaceship of that. So that's the first section. The second section, what did they call the second section? First section was Centaurus 2, right? Bear with me. Centaurus 2 was the first section. And then Rogue Ship was the second section, the middle section. So a couple years later, A.E. Van Vogt wrote another short story that kind of picked up where Centaurus 2 left off, and follows, I think, like the fourth or fifth generation of the captain's family, his great-great-great-grandson, who's now struggling to remain in command of this ship that his grandfather was the original captain of. And it's really cool. It's got a really cool twist because they end up meeting alien life, and meeting with alien life like significantly updates their ship's ability to reach and go beyond light speed. So it's traveling really fast now, but it's taking decades to get to where they originally wanted to go. So that's why there's so many generations of families on here on this spaceship, where if they had solved the problem of breaking the light speed barrier beforehand, they could have gotten to where they were going much quicker. And so meeting with alien life gives them the ability to go faster than light. And this is where the science stuff really comes in. Like the guy that he dedicates the story to, Ford McCormick, he must have been studying like light speed travel theory or something all the way back in 1950, because this is where it gets really kind of science heavy. It's still a cool adventure story, but and still carries on what it did in the first section, where it's kind of a study of humanity and civilizations and the laws that hold them together. It continues that, but in the middle, when they get the new technology and they go into light speed, it really changes the story into 2001, Stanley Kubrick's 2001 type trippy type stuff, and not heavy, but really cool. And then the third section is The Expendables. And that came 13 years after the second story. That came in 1963. And The Expendables, that's where the owner of this ship gets involved. The ship actually, once it breaks the light speed barrier, it basically, I can't even really explain it. Anyway, it returns to Earth. And I don't understand the science behind how they could get to the ship and back if it's traveling in light speed. They kind of explain it in here as the ship being in two places at one time, which, okay, that sounds fine to me. I don't understand it at all, but it sounds cool, and it works as a plot device. The owner gets on board the ship, and by now it's like civil war between the different factions on the ship. Like I said, I think we're in the fifth generation of people on this ship, and they kind of traveled back in time far enough that the original owner of the ship back on Earth, when the ship passes by Earth, he's able to get back on and kind of join in to the skirmishes and to take over command of his ship so it can continue its mission. This is a cool book. This is an old Doubleday book club edition. The book club edition. I don't remember where I got this. I can't remember if I got this at the AAUW's book sale in State College this year, or if I found this someplace else. I can't remember. Anyway, I got it real cheap, and it's in great condition. And this is A.E. Van Vogt, by birth a Canadian, sold his first piece of writing when he was only 20 years old. Since then, he has sold millions of words to several national magazines and had many books published. His specialty since 1939 has been science fiction. Mr. Van Vogt's interest in the mental sciences, hypnotism, ESP, etc., has influenced much of his work. Well, that's cool. That makes him even cooler if he's interested in hypnotism and ESP and mental sciences. That means his books probably do get more trippy than this one did, because this would be kind of 1939. Well, yeah, I guess this was 10, 20 years into his career. But I'm pretty sure he's written stuff after this, because when I was looking through my A.E. Van Vogt books, I was looking for the earliest copyright date, which was 1940 in this book, I believe. So I have other books that are newer than this, more recent. So it would be cool to see what A.E. Van Vogt does with the mental sciences. That after reading this, I'm very impressed. This is probably the best book I've read in a while. This is quite a good book. For being, almost 75 years old, we'll say. That's a very good book. So that's my entry to RocketSummer. I can't do the one book a week. I think Michael K. Vaughan originally said in his video, or he announced it this year, that each week would be a different decade. Like week 1, right now, where we're at right now, would be the 1930s. And week 2, the 40s. Week 3 is the 50s. Week 4 is the 60s. It basically covers the classic era of sci-fi. And there's no way I cannot read a book in a week. I can't do it. I mean, I guess I could, but I don't know. It'd be close. It'd be a close call. So this is my RocketSummer entry. One book. One book for July. So yeah, if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe. Share it with any other old nerds out there that like old science fiction and fantasy books like I do. I also do a series on this channel where I read my Marvel comic book collection in publishing date order. I'm currently in the year 1977. That's an ongoing thing. So check that out too. Give me a like, comment down below with your thoughts on A.E. Van Vogt and RocketSummer. And thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.